Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Tacho here, and we're back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. So for those of you Fay Pass owners, today we got ourselves a copy of Resplendent Alm. So we're going to be talking about him today, and we're just going to be talking about some builds and some skills for him and how you may want to play him. But before we get into all that, I just want to quickly talk about the artwork. So for this Alm, they decided to go with the Emblem attire, which is a pretty interesting choice. I mean, me personally, I would have thought this guy would go with the Asker attire or something like that. But he definitely rocks the black pretty well, so it is pretty dope in my opinion. I also love his attack artworks where he's just swinging around that falchion. But I think things get a little debatable when we talk about his face artwork. So the face, they made it more detailed and they definitely gave it more depth than the original artwork. But I think they went a little overboard with it. They made his cheeks like really chubby and really like pinchable. Like baby cheeks basically. So I don't know, man. It looks a little bit weird, but definitely I would say overall an improvement from the original art. Let me know in the comments section down below, guys, what your thoughts are on his art. I'm definitely interested to hear you guys' thoughts on that. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the builds now. So we're going to start with his base kit. This guy came with the Falchion, making him one of 4 characters in the game to have this weapon. The others being, of course, Marth, Lucina, and Chrom. So it's a very ubiquitous weapon. Pretty much all of these characters that used it in the series ended up getting it on release. And all it did day 1 was just effective against dragons, and then at the start of every 3rd turn you recover 10 HP. Not really the fanciest of weapons, but it was actually okay day 1, because there was a lot of dragons running around back then. But nowadays, I mean, it's pretty laughable. I will say this though, they made a very smart decision to give every character that had Falchion their own unique refine with it. So Marth got like a support type of refine. Lucina and Chrom ended up getting like a bond type of refine where they gain a lot of stats. And this Alm ended up getting a double lion effect for his refine, which I would say arguably is the best Falchion refine out of all of them. So Alm definitely won the lottery in terms of Falchion refines, I guess. His base kit also includes Draconic Aura, Attack plus 3, and Wind Sweep 3, making him the first character in the game to come with Wind Sweep 3. It wasn't really all that good on release. I mean, I always thought it was pretty clutch because you can negate the foe's counterattack and just go ahead and get some cheap shots in. But back then, overall, I will admit it was a little underpowered. Nowadays, that's not a problem because we have so many different ways to abuse it. Like with null follow-up, for example, you can just go ahead and get your double attack and still stop the foes from doing a counterattack. So Wind Sweep definitely looks a lot better now, which is pretty cool. Attack up 3 though, I mean, that's like complete fodder, so pretty much don't worry about that too much. And for recommended IVs on Alm, I would say you probably want to go for plus speed. Reason being is because his double lion refine gives him the potential to go for quad attacks. So you're going to want this guy to win as many speed checks as he can and possibly outrun the foes by 5 points. But plus attack isn't too bad either if you just want to go for some more damage. And to start us off with the budget build, we have a double lion abuse build, I guess you could call it. We're pretty much just going to use the hell out of that refine that he got. And the way it works is as long as he's at full HP, he's going to be able to do a double attack as if he had a brave weapon equipped. But the bad thing is that he is going to take 5 chip damage after combat if he attacks. So it's going to be tough for him to maintain that double lion effect and keep on using it throughout the fight. But on the upside, he does also come with a Renewal 3 effect. So at the start of odd number turns, he gets back 10 HP. Not too bad for a passive heal, and it's definitely going to help mitigate the chip damage from his Falchion refine. We're going to go with Gale Force as the special on this build. I feel like Gale Force is just a good idea on pretty much any unit that has the chance to do a brave attack. Because you're hitting the foes so many times, it's really easy and really consistent to just go ahead and activate Gale Force. But if you want him to do some more damage, then damaging specials like, I don't know, maybe Bonfire or maybe even Draconic Aura that he comes with, wouldn't be the worst ideas to go for. In the A slot, we're going with Life and Death 3, just to gain that attack and speed combo. We could go for Fury 3, but, I mean, sadly, Fury 3 has that chip damage and Double Lion don't really play too nicely together, even though Fury 3 literally has a picture of a lion on it, so I don't know what's up with that, but they just don't work together, so probably try to avoid that. I guess you could go with Darting Blow or Death Blow instead, but Life and Death giving you that combination of attack and speed, I think is probably the best bet. Now, in the B slot, we have the option to double up on Renewal 3, so that way, at the start of odd number turns, he would be getting back 20 HP in total, definitely helping him maintain his full HP requirement, but it's up to you if you want to do that. I mean, I think there's another good option you could go for, which is Dull Close. It's always a sneaky good option on these budget builds to go with either Dull Close or Dull Range, because it's like the budget version of the lull skills pretty much. There are advantages and disadvantages to both, but generally the idea is the same. Just negate the opponent's active buffs and it's easier to take them out. And in the C slot passive, we're going to go with Rouse Speed and Defense. You can get this from a Ferdinand von Aegir summon, but he does have to be a 5-star for this skill to be inheritable from him. So a little bit of a feather investment there. But it's hard to argue with the +6 to speed and defense that he gets. And all he has to do is not be adjacent to anybody at the start of the turn. And finally, for the Sacred Seal, we're going to go with Swift Sparrow 2, just to gain some more attack and speed. But what you could do is go for Flashing Blade or Heavy Blade as well. Not a bad seal option on this guy, especially for a budget build. And it's going to make that Gale Force way more consistent when he's attacking. But as for which of the skills you may want to go for, be it Heavy Blade or Flashing Blade, I think it's up for debate. Heavy Blade is definitely going to be better against like Glass Cannon types of units, or maybe not even, because those guys typically have crazy amounts of attack and speed. But Flashing Blade is definitely going to be better against tanky units, like the armored units and such, which don't really have the best of speed, but they have a lot of attack and defenses. So up to you which one of those you want to use, but they pretty much do the same thing for him, and it just depends on which stat check you think you're more comfortable with. And finally, for the high investment build on this guy, it's pretty much the exact same as the budget build. We're just trying to abuse that Double Lion effect to the utmost. Now, I will say this much about this Alm. He's very unlucky that he had to get his Resplendent alt now of all times, because we literally just got the refine for that Brave Celica. And most of the things that this Alm can do, that Celica just does right out of her refine. It's so nasty. Like, she gets the Special Blade ramping effect from her weapon as long as she's within 2 spaces of an ally or she initiates combat. She's getting the Mystic Boost effect, where she heals some HP at the end of combat. She has, of course, Double Lion in the B-slot passive. And on top of all this, she's gaining +5 to all stats from her weapon. So that Celica is just like this Alm on steroids, pretty much. Before the refine for that Celica, I would have made cases that this Alm is a little more consistent, because he has the Double Lion effect on his weapon as opposed to the B-slot. So you were always free to run like Mystic Boost or maybe even a lull skill on this guy, and he could mix it up a little bit from that Celica, but now it's like not even close. Celica is just way better than this guy, unfortunately. But if this guy is your favorite character and you like him, then by all means go ahead and build him up. He is still going to be pretty solid after you give him all the best skills. So even though he may be outclassed, I don't really think that completely takes away his usability, so keep that in mind. Now, on the high investment build, like I said earlier, we're free to go with Mystic Boost in the B slot for this guy, and that is going to help mitigate the chip damage he takes from his Double Lion effect, and it's going to give him a lot of self-sustainability, where you're not forced to run like a Heron or a healer or something like that on the team to make sure he's always at full HP. But if you want to go for more damage, then feel free to run Lull Speed and Defense in the B slot instead, so you can just dish out some more pain to the foes. We have Time's Pulse as the C slot skill, so he can start off with a cheeky -1 special cooldown to Gale Force, making it pretty easy for him to ramp into that with Flashing Blade or Heavy Blade 4, whichever one you want to go for. But other options you could go for are, of course, joint drive speed or joint drive attack. Either one is going to work just fine. And once again, we are going for Swift Sparrow as the Sacred Seal. It's just really good for him to gain that attack and speed combo. So overall, not too bad of a unit, despite being overshadowed by that Brave Celica. And it looks like our next Resplendent hero is actually going to be Julia. So just the other day, me and Wylia did a collab, and she did some summons on the Duo Sigurd banner. And right after we recorded that video, we were just having a bit of a talk about the game and like possible things we may see in the future. And we were talking about who the next Resplendent hero might be. And we were talking about Deirdre and Julia as possible options. I just threw that out there because I was talking to Wylia, and of course she loves those two characters. But I was also thinking, you know, we're getting all this genealogy stuff right now, so if they're ever going to do a Resplendent Julia or Deirdre, I think now is probably as good a time as any. And lo and behold, we ended up getting Resplendent Julia. I love the artwork for this character, by the way. She looks so freaking adorable. Like, I just want to give her a big old hug. So really outstanding job on the artwork there. I think it's a definite improvement from the original art that she had. And I can't wait to hear what Wylia has to say about this. And if you guys aren't familiar with Wylia, then definitely check out her channel and check out the collab summon that we did. There's going to be a link to all that stuff in the description of this video and also at the end. So do your boy Tacho a solid and show some support for Wylia. She's a really cool content creator, and I enjoy watching her Aether Raids runs every week. So that just about covers us for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed the discussion about Alm. Thanks so much for watching the video. And as always, this is your boy Tacho signing out. So take care, everybody. And I will catch you guys again on the flip side.